Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the stories. I've got a Vice story right now, and it's not going to be a dicey one, so I'll get to real gross ones here later on, so just so you know. But this is a Vice story, nevertheless. Um, Let me back up. When you work Vice in any department, it's a chosen spot by your commanding officer. Most precincts or divisions only have like 4 to 6 officers, and you're out of 200 to 300 officers, so you're hand selected by some sergeants that are going to work for, and of course the commanding officer has to approve you. So, and this is also a stepping stone to promote later on, because once you've got Vice, you're trusted with money, prostitutes, informants. You do all the stuff that basically checks your boxes, so you can become a detective or a sergeant or a supervisor later on in your career. So it pretty much is a nice stamp to have in your package for future promotions. It's fun. It's very interesting, and I'll explain a little bit of Vice in a minute. Back to your career, though. That's all the good stuff. The bad stuff is the tour is usually a couple of years. Okay, they do that for corruption purposes. They don't want anybody to stay there forever. Back in the day, a lot of police departments were corrupted by guys working prostitutes and marrying them or going to bed with them. So the departments decided, most departments decided to use a Vice tours to limit the Vice tours, so you don't get that kind of corruption, and to put new blood into the Vice units. Now the bad side of Vice is, again, if you screw up in there, do something unethical or against department policy or whatever, you get kicked out. Okay, now it doesn't mean you lose your job. You just go back to patrol or wherever you came from. But in your package it says with your whole career, it's in there. You didn't complete your Vice tour. And when you go for an oral board and they look at you and they look at there in front of them, they're going to ask you what happened, and you have to have a pretty good reason. Most guys want to finish that tour so they can walk in proudly, not slither in and go, well, I did this, I did that, I'm really sorry. Well, no, it ain't going to work because you got kicked out for a reason. Okay? So now, here's what Vice entails, in case you don't know. People think, oh my gosh, what's Vice? Vice is everything. No, 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 no. Vice is very limited in scope. Vice is not narcotics, although we do sometimes stumble onto narcotics in our arrests. It's not our focus. It's prostitutes, male and female. It's prostitutes either normal dressed, normal males and females, or males in drag clothes, dressed like women. It's bars and liquor stores selling to drunks and minors. It's gambling, any kind of gambling in public. Again, remember now, people, Vice is anything done in public. No one's going to kick in your door because you're playing penny ante poker with your aunt and uncle on a Saturday night. We don't do that. We don't have the resources for it, and most of all, pretty much against the law. You have a right to your privacy. So I'm talking about public. Everything's public here. Okay, so that's what Vice is. I'll get into more later as I tell more Vice stories. I'll explain some more when I get into that finite crime I'm going to tell you about. So here's what we were doing. And where I worked was a predominantly Latino area, and so we had a lot of bars. We had 2 or 3 streets, 4 or 5 miles long, with probably 20 bars on each street. So our job is to make sure that they don't break the law. In other words, selling to drunks, selling to minors. We have barmaids that sit down next to a drunk and order 2 beers. The guy gives the bartender 20, he gives him $1 change. Well, guess who keeps the rest of the money? The bartender, the bar, and the barmaid. So that's illegal. You can't do that, okay? Because they're scamming the poor guy that just wants to have a beer. So this is what we're doing. So we check bars. Well, we're allowed to drink. Usually, in the old days, they didn't have a limit. In the 80s and 90s, they made it 1 beer an hour. But when I was working, they just said be reasonable and know your limits, and you have to be able to, if there's a crime involved, you have to be able to write a report, okay? Because you can't be drunk, and you shouldn't be drunk anyway. You should. Okay. So anyway, so it was a slow weeknight, and we're trying to switch off. I work with my partner, so he checks the bar and goes in for half an hour and comes out. There's nothing in there. A lot of the bars are small-time bars. These aren't big sports complexes. These are little mom-and-pop bars. You go in there, they have like 5 tables in a bar, a righteous bar. So you go in there, you have a beer, you look around, nothing's going on, you come out, now it's your partner's turn. You go down the street, you go on another one because you're in plain clothes, nobody knows who you are. And so we did this. Well, we did this a lot. It was a slow night, and we're not seeing any violations. So now each of us have gone into, say, 4 or 5 bars, a couple hours of this. We're kind of drunk. We're not. It's kind of unsafe for us to drive, but we're very careful because we know we have our limitations. Again, we don't want to get kicked out of Vice, so I want to make sure we don't do anything wrong. So we're going down the street at 34 miles an hour, very careful because we don't want to crash, and we're still trying to make an arrest. We probably drank too much. Probably is an underword. Okay, we did drink too much. Okay, so now another part of ICE is checking liquor stores, like I told you earlier. Checking liquor stores is selling to minors and selling to drunks. Ironically, little side note, we get complaints about that. Who complains? Honest liquor stores. They complain about the liquor store down the street that's selling to the kids, and they're being law-abiding, and they're getting screwed. So they call. That's really weird. It happens in a lot of places where they call on each other because they want to be law-abiding, but they see what's going on. So we got a complaint about this liquor store was selling to juveniles, and so we set up. Well, this is how we set up. Very well-lit liquor store, a nice size one, a lot of glass windows, and we just basically stand outside. We just sit, loiter. We dress funny, so we just sit out front. There's nothing wrong. People are loitering all the time, and so we just kind of blending in. Okay, so you add the fact that we've been drinking. All right, so we're sitting there. Guy goes by, older guy in his 30s, he's kind of skinny, gives us a nod, we nod back. It's called a Latino nod. They're like, how you doing? How you doing? You don't have to say anything, you just nod and everything's cool. So he goes in. So we're talking like we're only a few feet from each other. We're, hey partner, okay, let's go. We're talking about tomorrow night's work, whatever. All of a sudden we look inside and we see the clerk, who's a little Mid-Eastern guy, had a turban on his head. He's behind the counter and his hands are up. Okay, he's being robbed. Okay, and we're looking at each other. And now we can see he's got a gun, and the clerk, his hands are down. The clerk's at the cash register shaking. He's putting the money in the bag. Okay. So now we're having a line seminar here. We're standing outside the liquor store, and I go, what do you want to do? I don't know. We can't shoot him. Why? Because we're drunk. If we shoot him, we'll solve the crime, but then we'll be out of ice. You can't be drunk in ice. Okay? You cannot be drunk. You can be drinking. That's okay, because they expect that you've been drinking, but not drunk. And we're drunk. There's no getting around it. So now we're talking. What do you want to do? I don't know. Well, oh my gosh. What? Well, there's a robbery. The poor guy might get shot. I mean, I think back now, and we're lucky the guy didn't shoot the clerk, but I think the clerk was responding to the robbery, and so that was okay. So okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm the bigger of the two. When he gets to the door, he has to open the glass door inside. So when he opens the door, I'm going to jump him with my gun, and you, partner, grab him, and we'll take him into custody. Okay, fine. So we're standing outside the door, and I'm watching. We're watching. It's done. The clerk's still standing there. The guy turns. We can see he's got a revolver. Sticks it in his waistband. We call that the old gang member holster. Okay, puts it in his waistband. Here he comes. Now he's looking around. Nobody's in the store. He saw us coming in, so we're cool because we all look like him. Because my partner's Latino, I'm Latino. We all look like we belong to each other. Opens that door, and I just reach back, pull out my gun, and I just go right at him full speed. 240 pounds of Mexican going right at him. Okay. Pushed him back. He fell back. I got a hold of his neck. And I'm riding him down with my gun in his mouth, literally in his mouth, okay? He's screaming. My partner runs up, and we had a technique that if they're it's an old thing that there's two things. Wherever you grab the head and pull it, the body will follow. Okay? We learned that in police work. However, also, if you grab the man's private parts, he will forget about what's going on because he's worried about his private parts. Okay? We'd say wherever those things go, he's going to go. So as I'm on top of his chest, gun in his mouth, I'm straddling him, and I'm yelling, police, police. Partner's got a hold of his privates, and he's holding down the guy screaming. I look up, and all I see is the counter, and a little head sticking up with his turban, and his eyes are this big around. That's the clerk. Now, can you imagine what he sees? He sees he just got robbed. He looked down the barrel of a gun. The guy turns around, walks to the door, and two big thugs come in with guns, and they take him down. He didn't know what to think, okay? So I'm yelling to him, because I knew he wasn't Latin, so I didn't have to speak in Spanish. So I'm yelling, call the police, we need help, call the police, we're the police. And we didn't have time to get our badges out because we're busy with him. And he's struggling, so he nods his head, and I see him on the phone. So we finally get the guy semi-calm, we roll him over, and we cuff him. And he keeps yelling, who are you guys? Even though we said we're police, he didn't really believe that. He's yelling the whole time, who are you guys? Who are you guys? And I said, we're police, shut up, okay. So we got his gun, we got the money, money flew, it was all over the floor. And so we're picking the money up, the clerk comes over, he's bowing into say, thank you so much, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And so we said, okay, well, let's wait till the cavalry gets here. So we said, you stay here, we need you as a witness, obviously, just stay calm. He goes, okay, he's happy now. He said, you guys want sodas? Yeah, no, we're fine. And remember now, we're still drunk, okay? So here comes the sirens. Here are the sirens coming. Obviously, he put out the right call, the citizen. Guys with shotguns, We got our badges now. We're sticking our badges up in the air. You know, don't, we're okay, we're okay. So they come running in, and of course guns are up. I said, you know, this guy got robbed. Oh, it's great. You know, this place has been robbed before, and we got the suspect. Turns out he was a heroin user, ex-con for, gee, you guessed it, robbery. Parole doesn't work. Just a little side note. Anyway, so they're picking him up. Okay, and since the citizen must have said undercover officers or plainclothes officers, our sergeant pulls up. Okay, and this guy is a really nice guy. I mean, he is a Bible man, a Christian, very good man, just a good man. Okay. So officers are now taking charge of the situation because Vice is, again, we don't do that. We're there to look for beer buyers, okay, not robbers. So anyway, this happened to roll in on us. So we go over to our supervisor. He looks, how's it going, guys? And he said, we're doing good. And he looks at us and he goes, oh no, you've been drinking, haven't you? I go, yeah. He goes, and then we told him what happened. He goes, is that why you didn't shoot him? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, here's what we're going to have to do. He says, you can't be interviewed right now because they're going to want patrol sergeants and detectives going to want to interview us. We're the witnesses along with the citizen, the victim. He says, go get something to eat. Drink some coffee. An hour. I'll see you at the station. Okay, get the heck out of here. Okay, because now we see more uniforms are coming. This all happened within about 2 or 3 minutes. It's a pretty fast-moving thing here. Sergeants are rolling in. So okay, so we get in our car and off we go. And as we take off, I can see our sergeant walking over to their sergeant, going, talking, and then he's pointing to us, and like, you know, like he's looking at. So he's telling them, my guys are going to be there, be getting something to eat. Okay, so we took off, and we're in the car going, oh my gosh, oh man, wow, that went really well. Oh, you know, because we saw our career just flash beyond us. Because again, people understand there's good shootings and there's marginal shootings and there's bad shootings. This would have been a good shooting. We pull out our guns, you know. Police freeze, like on TV, the guy probably would have gone for his piece. I don't know what he would have done. But if there was a shootout, it's a good shootout. You got a robber, you got a victim, you got all kinds. However, legally it's okay. Okay? District Attorney would say, it's great. Department policy, administratively, it's not good. Because you got drunk officers shooting at people. Okay? We don't get paid to do that. We're supposed to be sober, calm, and collected and do everything, which we did because we discussed that line seminar. We can't shoot the guy. Okay, so anyway, so we go eat. And about an hour, we head back to the precinct station. And of course, we're throwing in Mentos and bubble gum and everything else. So by the time we get there, an hour later, everybody's there. The patrol is there, the sergeant's there, robbery detective's been called in. They're all excited because they got a robber, and usually one robber is responsible for a lot of robberies. So they're all excited. So we're sitting down, and you know, they come over, and I'm looking at my partner. We're doing this the whole time. You know, we're okay. Come over, they interview us, give them the statements. We've calmed down now. Not only adrenaline, but we purged out some of the alcohol, so we're doing okay. So we tell them the stories, they're happy. The suspects, we don't book them. Again, we're advised. They're taken away, we're done. Go upstairs, supervisor comes up there, he goes, well, you guys proud of yourselves? And now he's going to give us a lecture, which he should, okay? You know, and we say, you understand you're not supposed to be drinking that much, and we were more concerned. We made a lesson, or we learned the lesson more than him telling us, because it kind of scared us that, you know, and also if we happen to be a shootout, we might miss and hit the poor clerk. You know, we're not here to do that. Okay, so anyway, so we're done. We're done for the night. We come home. We're done. We go home. Next day, come to work. He says the captain wants to see us. So my partner and I go in with the sergeant. We go into the captain's office, and I think, okay, he found out something. He's going to chew us out. I know he is. He goes, hey, I got the robbery detectives here. They want to give you a commendation, and I'm going to read it in front of them. They want to read it in front of you, and I'm sitting there with my two supervisors, myself, the captain, the lieutenant, all these people in there. And you go, okay, we're standing there, and this, you know, this night are the commendable observations by these two officers, and we're looking at each other, and we're starting to look at it's like a soap opera. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. We're looking at each other, They read this commendation. It's like, okay, and then that's good job, guys. And everybody walks out happy. We go upstairs with our little commendation, and we sit down at the desk, and we're going, amazing, amazing. We got away with it. That's how you got away with it. It's just amazing that we should not do this again. And again, I worked another tour after this, later on down the road, and I never did that again. I learned my lesson. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want myself to get hurt if I'm too drunk. I don't want my partner to get hurt. And we don't get paid to hurt citizens. We get paid to arrest people. Okay, so that's what we do. So it was a good caper all around. I felt really good about it afterwards. And one robber off the street, he went to trial. We went to trial later on. He got 20 to life because he had a bunch of robbery convictions. He was a rapist. he was a bad guy. There's no doubt about it. So he got 25 to life. He's gone, and that's the end of it. And it was a good story, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.